It's been a little while since I've last produced a video. And the last video that I produced was related to COVID-19. Now I'm thinking I'm going to do a follow-up video on that. That's probably going to come within a series of videos that I plan on producing. Now that video was produced back around early summer of this year, 2020. I believe sometime in June or July. We are now at the 31st of October of this very same year of 2020. So we are well into the fall, and we know it's been several months since I've last produced a video. As a matter of fact, we're just a few days away from the election. And this is what's probably going to spark me to produce quite a few videos that I want to get jotted out within these next couple of weeks. But the video series that I plan on producing, this is probably going to be all of the videos that I make from this point on, is going to be related to power. Specifically for black men. I'm not going to waste my time with black women because many black women collectively do not have respect for black men. How do I know this? Their actions have showcased this on social media, on mainstream media, and just throughout having conversations with black women myself, I've come to this conclusion. And the reason why I say I'm not going to waste, or another reason why I say I'm not going to waste my time with them, because I've told you black men this years ago, since 2017, I told you that if you build it, women will follow. And once you establish building something, you're not going to have to sit around here listening to foolishness or going back and forth over nonsense. Like an example of this here. We're all aware of the backlash that Ice Cube caught for merely holding a discussion with the Republican Party. Not saying that I align with them, not saying that, hey, I'm working with them. No, I'm merely holding a discussion to see what they can offer. Despite the fact that Ice Cube himself has come out, because this is the first thing that they've tried to say, oh, he's working with the Republican Party. He's working with the Trump campaign. And he had to come out and say, no, I am not working with them. The Platinum Plan is not my plan. They immediately tried to lump that up and say that that was his plan, and it's not. Ice Cube even came forth and said, listen, I'm willing to work with anybody who's in power or who's about to be in power. He mentioned how the Democratic Party reached out to him first and said, listen, well, we'll talk to you after the election. What does that tell you? But we're not going to get into that. That's for a separate video. But yet and still, you have Negroes who are pissed off with Ice Cube. How dare you do this? And how can you be working with the Trump party? And even though he never stated that he's working with them, this is what Negroes have come to the conclusion of. So with that being said, we know that Ice Cube, and listen, let me go ahead and make this perfectly clear. I've stated it time and time again that I do not follow celebrities. I do not believe that celebrities should be speaking up in the interests of black people. Because time and time again, we've seen that they sell us out and sell us short each and every chance they get. So as far as they're concerned, no, I do not want them speaking on black issues. Now, Ice Cube, on the other hand, listen, I've never had a problem with him. The guy's made good music. He started off as a gangster rapper and then attempted to clean his image up, started making kids movies because he wanted to be seen as something different than this thug or some criminal. So I got to give the brother some kind of respect behind that. And regardless of whatever somebody's opinion is of this man, if there's nothing else that you can respect, I respect the fact that he has an agenda. And he's unapologetic when it comes down to that agenda. Now, some might say he's not the best qualified. Okay, you might be right about that. He's not the most politically educated. Once again, you might be right about that. You might be right about that. Listen, I'm not going to knock anybody or fault nobody who feels that way. But out of all of the black politicians that we have had, what, since the 1970s? Or 60s, or whenever the hell this was? You mean to tell me not a single one of these Negroes have stood firm on a sound foundation and a exclusive black agenda since Malcolm X? So when you sit back and you listen to all these Negroes saying, well, where was he at? How come he's just showing up now? Well, hold on a second. Why have you not asked these questions to your black civil rights leaders? Why have you not presented these questions to your black pastors? Why have you not presented these questions to your black congressmen? Why does it take a rapper to come out and speak unapologetically for your best interest? Why is that? Because we know what the man said. The man said, listen, I'm not talking about minorities. I'm not talking about people of color. I'm not talking about people who are segregated or in marginalized communities. I'm talking about something specific and exclusive for black people. What was the key word in what I just said? Okay, you don't know it? Don't worry about it. We're going to get to that in a second. So if there's nothing else that I stand with him on, or if you stand with him on, I can stand with him on that much. And even if it were any other celebrity who said the same thing, once again, I don't believe celebrities should be speaking up in our best interest. I don't believe that they're qualified to do so. I believe many of them sell us out or sell us short far too often. But if you are going to speak from a perspective of being unapologetic, listen, I'm not here to appease everybody. I'm not here to lift every sail and boat. I'm not here for that dumbass shit. Then on that note, if you are going to speak unapologetically and stand firm on your square, which Nick Cannon said he was going to do, which he faltered at that big time, then on that end, I got to support that. If nothing else I stand with you on, I'm going to stand behind that position. I'll back you on that position. And listen, the goal is not for Ice Cube to take charge of this thing and lead it all the goddamn way. No, this is just to get it kicked off. This is just to get it jump started. All right, it's kind of like when your car battery dies and you can't start your engine. Somebody else is going to come along with you, whether you call a tow truck or whatever, and they're going to hook up jumper cables to their battery terminals and connect them to your terminals. As they hook them up to your terminals, guess what? Once your engine gets started, okay, we disconnect those wires. That's the only purpose you serve, just to get it jump started. Okay, your engine's running, keep it on for a while, let the battery charge, and all right, I'm off about my business. And from that point on, you should be good to go, as long as you keep that engine running for a little while. So that's how we have to look at that perspective. Now, I'm going to have to talk about this in 2 different videos, but let me just say this much. I respect the fact that he spoke from an unapologetic perspective. But here's what I'm going to tell you black men where you're going wrong. Far too often, black men don't know how to cut certain shit short. And let me go ahead and make this perfectly clear. A lot of you black men are going to have to start reevaluating what you were taught from your single mothers, what you were taught out of these black pastors, out of a host and a list of other failed Negroes in your past. And my message predominantly is for people my age and younger, because these are the ones who have been deceived over the goddamn years. And what you're going to come across is a bunch of washed up, dusty Negroes who are going to tell you, man, listen, you need to respect your elders. And this is a lot of these talking points are going to come from the civil rights generation. And no, you do not need to respect these niggas. Especially if they can't produce anything, if they have no victories or wins under their damn belt. You do not deserve any respect from me, none whatsoever. So you don't get to come along and demand that. When you get one of these washed up, dusty niggas running around talking about, hey, listen, son, I'm trying to talk to you, son. Listen, I ain't your fucking son. Watch that fucking talk. What you mean, nigga? I ain't your fucking son, nigga. Reason being for that, once again, where are your victories? What have you done to propel the next generation to a higher level? Oh, that's right, you've done nothing. But we're going to put a pause on that. Now, let's get back to what I talked about just a second ago. When I talked about Ice Cube having an unapologetic exclusive to black people, I asked for the key word. Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say the key word? Still don't know? All right, stick with me. We know that he has had numerous conversations with, what's this guy, Chris Cuomo, which we know that this guy was being completely dishonest, trying to set him up in the same thing. Oh, you're working with the Trump administration, and he pretty much checked him on that. No, what you're saying is dishonest information. I never said I was working with anybody. The Platinum Plan is not my plan. That's Trump's plan. My plan is the contract for Black America. We know this. But this is still how they tried to spin the narrative. Why? Because they are pushing propaganda. We know this. At least those who are thinking and using their fucking brain. Then we've seen him on the Roly Poly show. And what did you notice? Who did Roly Martin try to get to sit down and interview Ice Cube? Let me see if I can find her name. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go through my phone. Because if you take a look at this image, I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't know if I screenshotted it. All right, I'm gonna look for it. But as a matter of fact, now I know where it's at. Now I know where it's at. Give me 1 second. I gotta go to fucking Instagram and find this. So I'm gonna go right on here right now. Give me 1 second. I'm just looking for this image right now. All right, I found her. Garza. Alicia Garza. Okay. Okay, so this is who Roland Martin had sitting down attempting to interview Ice Cube. Now, if you pay attention to what was going on, like I was looking at, you can tell that this is a woman that has, first of all, when I looked at her with a bull nose ringing her damn nose, I said, okay, this is a dyke. She's a butch. She's one of these Black Lives Matter, LGBT, allies. This is what she is. I think this is the same one who was one of the founders of Black Lives Matter. And when I looked at her, I said, okay, I don't know much about this bimbo, but this is, I guarantee you this bimbo is munching on white carpets right now. In a relationship or in some interracial relationship with a white female, licking white carpet. I mean, come on, man. We know what time it is. We know what time it is. And those of y'all know this as well. So the fact that Roly Poly's fat ass will go ahead and bring this bimbo to sit down and attempt to lecture Ice Cube, well, you know, you got to get in line. No, the bitch, the hell I don't. I ain't got to get in nobody's fucking line. So that's the one thing I'll say I'm glad that he spoke up on. But just looking at the smug look in her face, why did you bring this female to have this discussion when it comes down to black empowerment? Because these people are not here to talk about black empowerment. That was the main thing that I gathered when I watched that interview. You're not here to talk about black empowerment. You're here to cause distraction. You're here to start introducing people of color, minorities, LGBT, transgender women, stupid shit. This is what you're trying to do. Likewise, when we looked at that conversation, Coffee with Queens, whatever you want to classify it as. And you had a host of bimbos sitting down having a conversation with Ice Cube. See, this is where Ice Cube goes wrong. If we're going to critique him on anything, this is what you critique him on. Because you're sitting up having a conversation with a group of females who first of all, let me just make this perfectly clear. As a man, once you understand the meaning of being an alpha male and you have an agenda, you focus on that agenda. You got to start thinking in a certain way with shit that is actually focused the way it operates. All right? When shit is focused, there's no stopping what has momentum. Perfect example, we take a train. I've given y'all example, and I love using analogies. I've given you analogies about two different types of passenger trains. You have the electric passenger train that runs off of either third rail power or overhead catenary. Then you have the diesel passenger train. If they both run for the same railroad, what you are typically going to notice is that the diesel passenger train runs longer distances. These are typically express trains unless there's some kind of a shortage or an emergency where they need them to run local service. But under normal circumstances, these are express trains. And after peak hours or after evening hours, guess what? They don't even run them like that. They only run them as shuttles. Now, the electrics, of course, they run them locally. The reason why they do this is because an electric train can accelerate fast and it can stop faster than the diesel passenger train. Why? Because each set of cars has its own set of traction motors, so everything works simultaneously. A diesel passenger versus the electric, on the other hand, You're solely relying on that diesel locomotive to provide momentum for that train, to provide head-end power for that train, to provide supply air for the air braking system for that train. So that locomotive is essentially the heart of that fucking train, meaning it's going to take it longer to start and accelerate and even longer to stop. That's how it works. So the way they focus these things is, okay, if we're going to be most efficient at our operations, the best way to run this train, this diesel passenger train, we're not going to run this on local service. Put it on an express track and let that shit go to fucking maximum authorized speed and let it gut it. That's it. It's going to be 10, 15 miles before you come to another stop. Just gun it. Get the hell out of here. The electric shit, we can stop you all over the damn place. Why? Because it's not going to be so much wear and tear. So they found a way to channel their resources in a proper manner. What am I saying when I say this? When it comes down to you black men, if you have a focused, sound agenda, okay? If you know what it is that you're doing, you're not stopping and being local. I made a video about this, what was it, last year? There's local and there's express. A local Negro is one that you're going to find on panels having silly debates, goofy-ass arguments with women, going back and forth over stupid shit, trying to win a fucking debate, which amounts to nothing, regardless of whoever the hell wins it or loses it. You got nothing accomplished, Negro. Your circumstances are still the fucking same. That's what you would classify as a local Negro. An express, on the other hand, is one you don't see this brother everywhere conversating with every goddamn body. You don't see him sitting down talking his agenda and trying to get everybody on board with it because he knows that's not going to work. So meaning he's not stopping all over the goddamn place. But the problem that I'm seeing with Ice Cube is that, brother, you're stopping in places you ain't got no business being. Listen, man, you're supposed to be that express train. You got a diesel passenger engine at the front of your fucking train consist, man. Why are you on the local track stopping at every single stop? You don't do that. Why? Because it's inefficient. You're wasting money. It's going to take more time to start and get that momentum going again. So when you find this brother doing this, if you're going to get him on any goddamn thing, that's what you nail him on. Listen, man, you don't need to find yourself on a fucking talk show having coffee with bimbos. Fuck that shit. Don't waste your time doing it. And if you know what you're doing as an alpha black man, then you don't sit here negotiating with your fucking women on how you are going to acquire power. You don't do. Listen, man, do y'all think for 1 second that white men, when they wanted to conquer the fucking world, sat down, well, wait a second, we got to discuss this with our queens or what we gonna do? No, they didn't do that shit. Any other group that wants to amass power are not sitting down holding discussions with their women on how they're going to do it. Listen, we just gonna go ahead and get this shit done. Either you with it or you not. Those who are with it, you reap the benefits off of it. Those who are not, guess what? You better figure it out. Sucks to be you. Because that's how that works. And this is how you black men need to learn how to operate. Furthermore, here's the problem when it comes down to black men. Brian Solange has quoted me on this time and time again. And I stated this countless times, that black men lack the understanding of optics. But it is not the most profound thing that I've ever said. In addition, what I will also say about black men, and this also is applicable to black people, but my targeted audience are black men, is black men lack analytical skills. What do I mean when I say this? Black men lack the ability to be able to analyze their environments around them, and therefore knowing how to navigate within that environment to get a favorable outcome. Black men as a collective don't know how to do this. You see this shit time and time again, and this is another reason why Ice Cube would find himself on a panel having that goofy ass discussion. Now, I asked y'all 2 times. There was a key word when I said, okay, this is an agenda exclusive to black people. What is the key word? Many of y'all still might not figure it out, so I'm gonna go ahead and break it down for you right now. Because we know at some point there was a bimbo who had a problem. And listen, these bimbos were not there to talk about a black agenda. That's not what they were, but that's not their purpose. They were there to merely cause distraction. This is another reason why I say when you're that diesel passenger locomotive, you don't run on the local track. Or if you're on the local track, listen, that track is clear for you to gun it. You're not stopping at every station. But here this brother is running a diesel passenger train, stopping at every fucking station. Guy, you're wasting fuel. You're putting wear and tear on my fucking traction motors, man. The engine's gonna be in the shop more frequently than what it should. Why? Because you're putting unnecessary stress on the motherfucker. You need to take this bitch and gun it balls to the fucking wall. Get in the notch 8, put your reverser in forward and floor it. Don't stop until another 10 miles from now. But that's not what he's doing. What this brother's finding himself doing is sitting on a panel having conversations with a bunch of females who do not care nothing about a black agenda. That's not why they're there. Their sole purpose is to cause a distraction. And there was one particularly, and this lets you know how egregious this is. And this is what I mean when I say black men. They fail to be able to understand the environment around them. Because immediately when this actually took place, Ice Cube should have checked that shit and quickly removed himself off that panel. Or if not a bare minimum, shut that stupid shit down. Because it was one of these bimbos who's not even a full black woman, looked like a Hispanic or some mulatto, who sat up here and talked about, well, my problem here with this agenda is there's nothing in here exclusive for black women. First of all, bitch, you're not a black woman. So where the fuck do you come from talking about an exclusive agenda for black women and you're not even a black woman? Are you fucking serious? Furthermore, Ice Cube goes as far, this is what I mean when I say here you are running an express train, stopping at local stations. You ain't got no business being here, Cube. This train is not scheduled to stop at this station. Why are you here? Dispatcher calling the Cube, man. Take your train and get on that main line and fucking get to that next station. You ain't supposed to stop here. You got another 10 miles of track before you come to a stop. Why are you stopping? You got clear signals down the fucking track. Why are you doing restricted speed when you're authorized to do MAS? What are you doing? See, this is what black men don't understand, because immediately, instead of him being able to pick up on what that was, there was nothing exclusive in here for black women. Key word now. There's 2 key words I just threw out there now. So what he says, instead of quickly shutting that shit down, he says, well, if you want to, you can write some stuff down and add it into the program. Let's just delve into that for a second. And that right there lets me know what time it is. First of all, this is what makes this most egregious. Because Ice Cube's contract for Black America, the key word that we're looking at was a plan exclusive for black people. This is not gender specific. We are both equally going to benefit. This is for the collective. As a matter of fact, black women outnumber black men, so they're the ones who are predominantly going to benefit off of this. But yet and still, and not a single one of them hoes who are on that panel check that bitch. Not one of them. So that lets you know where they all fucking stand. Vivica Fox, that other bimbo that was on there, not a single fucking one checked her. Checked her. This plan is exclusive to black people. So I find it offensive that despite the fact that Ice Cube didn't even mention nothing exclusive for black men, here you are trying to come up with something exclusive for black women. So y'all be damned. You want me to build the fucking castle and then hand you the keys and tell you you can run roughshod through this? Man, fuck that. That ain't happening. You take that shit and bring that bullshit to somebody else. You're not bringing that over here. But this is essentially what she did. And instead of Ice Cube quickly checking that and saying, hold the fuck up, because I didn't mention anything in this plan exclusive to black men. This is for black people. You are not going to alter my fucking plan. You're not doing that because I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Furthermore, you are not even a black woman. And then will furthermore let you know that this bimbo had no intentions on fucking trying to have a reasonable discussion and trying to improve the plan. When he said, okay, well, you can write stuff down and give me some ideas, she said, nah, I'm not doing that. That's your plan. You should have came up with that. Hold the fuck up. Hold on. Hold the fuck up. Hold up. And see, this is what I'm telling you, black men. I told you black men this before. If you build it, they will follow. I told you this. But when you build it, you don't sit here negotiating with them. I'm not here to negotiate with you. Get the fuck out of here. This is my plan. I come up with what needs to go in this plan and what doesn't. You want to come up with your own fucking plan, you do that. Don't come over here and try to alter my shit so it fits your fucking agenda. Fuck you. But this is essentially what she attempted to do. Why? Because she was never there to solve problems. She was only there to cause distractions. And this is what I mean when I say you are that express train running on a local track. Wait a second. How did you get your switches lined up for the local track? The dispatcher, I ain't lining you up for that. I lined you up for the express track, so that means you manually went out there and threw switches so you could get on the local track. Wait a second, why are you over here picking up people at local stations? Now, when you got a shit fest on your fucking train and people causing chaos and fights and people getting drunk and throwing up all over the goddamn place, this is the reason why that is, because you should not have been there. You should never have been there in the first place. It's just like a fucking, when you deal with MTA and they got two different divisions of buses. They have their coach buses, which only do express bus runs into the city. They don't stop everywhere. And you got to pay more to get on those goddamn buses. And then you have the local buses that get every fucking person under the sun to get on those goddamn buses. And what happens? Those buses typically stink. They're disgusting. You don't want to ride them. But the express buses, listen, even if you have a nice car, you don't mind getting on an express bus. Why? Because you know the bus is fucking comfortable. You can always get a goddamn seat. But see, knowing your fucking route and knowing what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, you don't have that problem with that crowd getting on your fucking bus. And this is exactly what you did, Ice Cube. Once again, you were that express train or that express bus, coach class. You're not supposed to stop everywhere. Why are you at these locations? See, a focused black man would not even find himself in a situation where he's being lectured by a bunch of goddamn females. It's not happening. It's not. And the fact that this brother couldn't pick up on this and quickly shut that shit down. Listen, I would love to sit down and have a one-on-one discussion with Ice Cube. Listen, man, brother, you need to get focused. Because you're going all over the goddamn place. Listen, man, you got a simple route in front of you. A simple route. Just drive this agenda home. Just keep pushing it out there. And listen, we don't expect you to run it all the way. At some point, you're going to dock that train at the station and another engineer is going to get in there and they're going to run that fucking train. That's how it's going to go. So you ain't got to worry about carrying the full load. We got other engineers waiting to jump on board. Just get to your location, but do not stop everywhere and entertain foolishness. And this is the problem. This is why you don't include every goddamn body. When it comes down to making a sound, simple agenda, you come up with something that's going to benefit black people. You get only a sound group of solid fucking focused people, a small group, and that's it. Nobody else can get involved with this. Why? Because if we get too many people involved, this is going to get squandered. It's going to become a joke. It's just like Malcolm X said, well, listen, when it comes down to getting the black agenda involved, leave your religion home, leave your personal beliefs home. Let's just align ourselves when it comes down to this agenda. Because if we start talking about religion and everything else, before you know it, the agenda, it becomes watered down. And we're no longer focusing on the black agenda. We're talking about who understands the Quran better and the Most High versus Yahshua and all this other stupid shit. Shit that has nothing to do with nothing. You have successfully deviated the conversation. This is the problem. I told you black men this. This is also another reason why I tell you Negroes, stop finding yourselves on panels debating people like the likes of a Cynthia G, following all these. Stop. I see this shit too many times. You Negroes calling into their goddamn, I want to debate you, I want to have a discussion. When you see a Negro doing that, that's a Negro who is not focused. He doesn't have a sound fucking plan. Because if you have a sound plan, you won't even find yourself. Like I said, you're that express train. Okay? As a matter of fact, your train won't even come close to that platform because you're on the express track. So she's waving at you from the fucking platform. You 2 tracks down across that platform. I'm not stopping. I won't even toot the fucking horn for you. Why? Because I have a focused agenda. I'm not here to stop for you. I'm not here to debate you. I'm not here to listen to your silly arguments and your goofy reference points. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, you black men, they building up. You ain't done. Okay, cool. We got an agenda. That's where this train is heading toward. All right? Toward black empowerment. We ain't wasting our time stopping to entertain your fucking foolishness. When it's built, we know who is with us and who is against us. Because the fact of the matter is this. Listen, I guarantee you these hoes who are running around talking this stupid shit, you black men ain't built nothing. We don't shoot any exclusive black women. If Ice Cube would have put forth his contract for black America, black women would have no problem reaping the benefits of that. Collecting their check. If he were to get reparations for black people, guess what? These hoes ain't gonna be complaining when they got their reparations check and they spending it on Louis Vuitton purses and a bunch of dumb shit. I'm telling you, black men, at some point or another, you Negroes need to get fucking serious. And you need to learn how to get focused and stop wasting your time with things that don't matter. When it comes down to pushing an agenda, you don't need everybody on board with it. And if you're going to get people on board, you got to quickly know who's on your side and who's trying to deviate. And when you come across, once you could quickly differentiate that, see a Negro who has good analytical skills, would have seen this and he would have dismissed that shit. Listen, you know what? I tried this. I'm done wasting my time with y'all. I see where this is going. This is a complete waste of time. Y'all can argue amongst yourselves. I'm not arguing with you hoes. Y'all do that by yourself. That's just what that is. An alpha male understands this. Even if it means, okay, there's some people you personally know, like, what's it, Lisa Ray? He was cool with her. They made the Players Club together. But listen, an alpha male knows, listen, at the end of the damn day, you can be upset. You can be offended. I don't care. I'm not here trying to impress women. I'm not here trying to get your approval. That's not what my agenda is. I know where this train is going. Okay? I got other engineers once I get into that terminal who are going to jump on board this engine and take over because I'm going to be tired. So I'm going to need a break. I'm going to need to sit down and have my coffee, use the bathroom, have a little food. But I'm going to be tired. All right? But that's how this is going to go down. So I need a sound group of focused people who understand this. And what furthermore lets me know that you Negroes don't understand not only optics, but you lack analytical skills and you don't know how to analyze the environment around you, is when you look at what black men's priorities are. There's a location that I pass by on a daily basis, and I notice you can get black men to come together to get down on their knees, bow down, and pray. And I say, that's pretty odd to me. To the point where they got fucking cars double parked, lined up around the block, all to get down on their knees and fucking pray. Something that has produced no tangibles ever. But this is what you could get black men to do. You can also get black men to sit around on these programs where these Negroes are sitting around talking about high value men. And what do you ladies need to do to get a high value man? Before I get into that, let me just say this much. Because I do understand that just back over the summer, a couple of months ago, that Crystalline Carrison called into this one Kevin Samuels show. All right. Now, one thing about Crystalline Carrison, people have not really been talking about her like that. She's kind of fallen somewhat into obscurity. No, she's not. She doesn't hold the same relevance she held 2 or 3 years ago. Let me crack this window open for a second. And I told you black men how this works. So even the same group of females who are hashtag divested, supposedly married off to white guys, why do they find themselves on panels where you're at, looking to get your attention, calling into a Kevin Samuels show? And anybody who has watched the Kevin Samuels program knows how he speaks to women. So why would a Crystalline Carrison find herself there? I'll tell you why. Because if for 1 second these females think that you have something to offer, doesn't matter how much they talk about they're going to divest from you, they're going to find themselves right back in your faces trying to seek you Negroes out. I've told you this. I've told you if you build it, women will follow. It is just that fucking simple. So now let me leave you with this here. Because this talk about this high value man bullshit, you know, I really need you Negroes to come up off that stupid shit. I mean, here's the deal. Black men are the last group of men on the face of the planet that should ever be classifying themselves as high value men. Now, a lot of you Negroes think just because you can put on a damn suit and tie in your goofy ass, sit down in a fucking video with some soft music, lighting candles, that somehow makes you a high value man. No, most of you niggas are fucking clowns. Y'all look fucking stupid. And this is the problem what I'm going to warn the younger generation of black men about. Is you're going to have a lot of these older, washed up Negroes who have the same mindset. And Kevin Samuels is one of them. And listen, man, I first caught on to Crystalline Carrison calling into his program when David Carroll sent me a link and a timestamp of what to look at and what to look for. This is a while ago. I thought I was going to make a video on it at that time. I said, you know what? I'm too busy. Didn't have time to do it. And on top of that, Crystalline Carrison is irrelevant. I don't got no reason to even waste my time really going in on that. But as far as that's concerned, I haven't looked at anything of Kevin Samuels prior to that. Even though every now and again his stuff will come up on my timeline, I just never found a reason to look at it. High value men this and high value men that. Okay, it just sounds stupid to me at this point in time. So after that happened, I said, let me just listen to a couple of this man's videos and see what he's talking about. And when I listened to his videos, there was something that he said in there that really made me think, okay, this is the problem that we have in black society. Because a Negro like him thinks he's a high value man when he can sit down lecturing a bunch of overweight, out of shape females. Oh, if you want to get a high value man, your weight need to be 119, 115. Your weight index to your body. Man, get the fuck out of here with that stupid shit. This is some of the dumbest fucking shit. I mean, in 2020, this is what you stupid ass niggas are on? Dumb shit like this? Lecturing females about them being overweight? Nigga, are you serious? But see, a lot of you clown, goofy ass niggas will sit back and listen to this stupid shit and don't see nothing wrong with it. But what the fuck makes you a high value man? The fact that you can sit here waving your hand in the face of some fat, morbidly obese females? Nigga, get the fuck out of here. That shit sounds stupid. And let me make this perfectly clear. I don't want nobody coming along to my comment thread and say, oh, what you doing? You caping for them? No, not for one damn second. What I'm saying is you niggas have no fucking focus. And to think that your focus would be on this shit right now in 2020, because as high value as you might think that you are, because your goofy ass can put on a goddamn suit and tie, and you have many, listen, let me just say this much. I'm not downing anybody for wearing a suit and tie. You want to wear a suit and tie, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't make you a high value man. It doesn't. And a lot of you Negroes think, well, I'm a high value man because I got money. I got resources. Okay, you're still not a high value man. Let me tell you why. Because at any given time, somebody can come along of another group and strip you of your money and your resources and decide to cage you if they really want to. They're doing it right now. You don't believe me? Bill Cosby is a prominent example. A prominent example. And listen, let me make this perfectly clear. I don't have a problem with black men who have money. That's what you should aspire to have. Money, wealth, and resources. That's what you should want. But the problem that I have with the mind frames of a Kevin Samuels is simple. Because he mentioned something and said, well, you know, when you younger black men say, well, what have you done for us? Why should we do anything for you? We ain't got to do nothing for you. You never respected us. Hold the fuck up. Hold on, man. Hold on. You see, you niggas are the only ones who think like this on some asinine, stupid shit like this. No other race of people in the world function like this. Except you black men. We ain't got to do nothing for you. Well, black people as a collective function like this. But like I said, this video is toward black men. But y'all the only ones who run around thinking like this and wonder why you don't have control over nothing. So once again, I need you niggas to reevaluate what the fuck you're saying when you sit up here talking about a high value man because your silly ass can put on a goddamn suit and tie. That doesn't make you high value. Because if that was the case, Bill Cosby, why is his black ass sitting in prison right now? Just think about it. When the whole pandemic, the height of the pandemic hit, they were releasing violent criminals. Because of what? They were concerned for their safety. So they would rather let a savage out in the street. They let fucking Tekashi 6ix9ine out. Bill Cosby, who's not only a senior citizen, but one who is legally blind, furthermore, needs an assistant just to get around. This man is a threat to nobody. Why can't you release this man? But where is he sitting right now? He's still sitting in prison. And oh yeah, he's going to serve at a bare minimum 3 years. Now, many of you might respect Bill Cosby. I respect Bill Cosby, but to a certain level, I got to back off of some of that respect. Why? Because Bill Cosby had no problem sticking his hands in the faces of other black men, saying that we were the goddamn problem. You can have anything you want in this country as long as you're willing to work hard for it. He was known as America's dad. And this is what he said, because Bill Cosby was one of these Negroes who thought shit was sweet, that it couldn't happen to him. And lo and behold, what happened? 30-year-old allegations came back to bite him in the ass. And they literally rewritten laws so they can lock his black ass up. With all the money he had, he could not keep his black ass from going to prison. That didn't stop him. With all the money. And you want to know the reason why that is? The same way with the Black Wall Street. Even though I believe they were pretty successful with the Black Wall Street, it was a matter of having tangibles. And hey, this is a legitimate thing to have. But the Black Wall Street fell. Why was that? Why? Why? And at least back in those days, those brothers actually thought about building with one another. They just didn't have every piece of the puzzle together. If they had all the pieces of the puzzle together, the Black Wall Street might still have survived. But you niggas to this day and age right now, no, y'all don't care to build with other black men. So when I sit back and I listen to a goofy ass Kevin Samuel sitting in a fucking YouTube video, I ain't got to be with y'all. Why we got to do anything with y'all? But the only thing you want to be able to do is lecture fucking black women and stick your finger in their fucking faces, which at any given time, if you marry one of these females, or if you, not just black women, any fucking woman, you get into a relationship, you have a sexual relationship with one of these goddamn females, they, at any given time, they can lump you up with rape allegations, and before you know it, your black ass is going to jail. How high value are you then? You realize you just like every other fucking nigga. Just like Bill Cosby found out the hard way, sitting his black ass in prison right now. You're just like anybody else. As quickly as they can strip my black ass of whatever it is that I have and lock my ass up is the same way they can do to you. Why is that? Why? I'll tell you why. It's because of people with the Kevin Samuels mindset, who don't think that they need to link up with other like-minded black men and establish and form an establishment with themselves. They don't think they got to do that. They want to be lone wolves. And a lot of you Negroes, let me go ahead and make this perfectly clear. Let me make this perfectly clear. And what I'm about to say is going to piss a lot of y'all off, because I'm actually going to co-sign the talking points of a Cynthia G. And I hate that I even have to do that. But at this point in time, it's true. And if this is what it takes to kick you Negroes in the ass and get y'all to do what the fuck y'all supposed to do instead of what y'all been doing, which has never worked, then so be it. But the fact of the matter is this. I understand now why you have a segment of black women who would rather fuck with the Pookie and Ray Ray before they fuck with you educated lames. I understand why. I understand why. It makes more sense to me now more than ever. Reason being, it's pretty goddamn simple. As a group of men, and this goes to you educated lames, as a group of men, of black men, you are supposed to establish a foundation for other like-minded black men. I'm not telling you to go out here and build for Pookie and Ray Ray, but establish something for other like-minded black men. I'm not telling you to go out here and build for black women who don't want you. I'm not saying that. But what you need to do is establish something for other like-minded, let me crack these windows open in this car, it's getting kind of hot. For other like-minded black men. You need to be looking for your protege. This is what Bill Cosby failed to do, and what a host of other black men have failed to do. Robert F. Smith being another one of them. You don't believe me? Robert F. Smith, a lot of you Negroes went ahead and praised his black ass. Oh man, you black women can't say nothing about us. Look at him, he's the richest black person in the country. Okay, I can respect him on his educational level. I can respect him for building a foundation for himself, but when you look at his Vista equities, if I'm not mistaken, there's no black partners involved with that company. They're all white. Furthermore, this man is married to a white woman. Furthermore, I told you the game that these Negroes run on y'all, because they want to buy your silence. They do absolutely nothing of any tangible resources for you, but they put a couple of you black men through college. Now, listen, that's commendable, but that's a fucking tax write-off at a bare minimum. At a bare minimum. Because you got plenty of black people who are in college. I mean, if getting educated is what would solve the problems in black society, then listen, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. Then black women should have been the main fucking gateway to closing the wealth gap if getting college education was the answer. That's not. It doesn't build wealth. It doesn't establish resources, but yet and still black women are the most enrolled in college, but yet they're worth of a net worth of $5 fucking. Makes sense out of that for me. This is where they stand. But yet you're going to tell me that fucking college education, no. See, once again, that is a bare minimum. And what he has done was buy your silence. Robert S. Smith, if you want to impress me, establish a coalition of other black men. You own a fucking company, a tech company. Show me that the face of your company and who runs that company are other black men, because this is what white men do all the goddamn time. They have no problem. They make no apologies, ifs, ands, or buts about it. They own a company. They let it be known, listen, we are the owners of this fucking company. When you see all white asses coming up in here with suits and ties on and polished shoes, hair slicked up and combed back to the side, and we walking around here, the most you hear is the clack of our shoes, fresh soles on the shoes, clean, hitting the damn floor. You know that this is our company. It's a bunch of white men running this shit. So since they can do this and they got no problem displaying this, at what point in time do you black men say the same thing? How does it look for you black men to own a tech company and yet, instead of putting other black men as your beneficiaries, as the ones who run this, a bunch of bald-headed Negroes suited and booted with fresh ties on and polished shoes? If you gonna put a suit and tie on for any fucking reason, that's the reason why you should put a goddamn suit and tie, not to impress no fucking bitch. You see, you niggas got y'all fucking priorities all fucked up. So y'all running around here sitting in a goofy ass video putting on suits and ties thinking that makes you high value. No, you a goddamn clown. That's what the fuck y'all are. And when I sit back and I look at you niggas doing the shit y'all do, it lets me know you don't understand how power works. This is why you can look at a Robert F. Smith and give his black ass a pass. That is a Negro that I have no fucking respect for. But he put black men through college, right? That's a bare minimum. What have you done to establish resources for black society? But damn that, what have you done to create your protege? I want my company to be ran by people like me. Even if something happens to me and I can't run it, at least it'll stay in the hands of black men. This Negro hasn't done that. Most of you Negroes are so fucking stupid, y'all can't even look past the fact that he's got a white wife. And don't even see the fucking chess move that's been played on his black ass. I mean, y'all so damn dumb. Like I told y'all before, y'all have no analytical skills. This is why y'all look at that shit. Oh, man, he doing something for us. You see, this prove the swirl is wrong. You see all the Cynthia G's and all these women are saying what they say. How do you consider about us? Look, we got Robert F. Smith. That's a fucking bullshit fucking excuse. A weak-ass example. Because he's not doing anything collectively for black society to put black men in positions of power. He's not. He would rather give that position to white men, furthermore empowering their position in society, which is an embarrassment on you Negroes. That's where that shit really stands. And for that much, for those of you Negroes who applaud that dumb shit and think he's really getting something done because he has all the fucking money and he's the richest black man in the country and he's untouchable, guess what? He's currently under tax evasion. IRS is considering locking his black ass up. Chances are they probably will, because we know they love making examples out of wealthy black men. Don't believe me? I give you no better example than Bill Cosby. And if that wasn't an eye-opener to you Negroes, let me just turn the fucking car on and get the AC on. It is hot as hell in here. If that right there is not an example to you Negroes, I don't know what else I can say that will make heads or tails out of this shit for your black ass. I don't know what else. No, we're not going to have the heated seat on nor the heated steering wheel. It's funny because I'm sitting in my car right now and the outside temperature is reading at 34 degrees, which I don't think it is right now because the sun is beaming. But once the temperature drops below 39 degrees, the automatic heated steering wheel and seat comes on. And I turned the car on for the sole purpose of getting some air conditioning or some fresh air, and I got heat coming out of the heated seat. But anyhow, like I told y'all, he is currently under tax evasion. Now, of course, he has the money to pay off his taxes, or at least at the bare minimum, come up with a payment plan. But we know that's not how the IRS operates. They are eager to throw wealthy black men in prison. This happened to Wesley Snipes, what, about 10 years ago or more. Even though people came through saying, hey, we're willing to pay off the money for him, they said, fuck that, now we don't want his money, lock his black ass up. If you Negroes are not picking up on the signs and how easy it is for you to be stripped of your wealth and resources, I don't know what else I can tell you. And for a lot of y'all that fuck with people like Kevin Samuels who don't see the problem for what it really lies, we ain't got to build nothing for black men, we ain't got to do no. You build because it protects you in the long run. That's why. That's why. But see, we've had a host of shucking and jiving, stepping, fetching Negroes who think they're of high value, hold no power, they don't own nothing, they don't run nothing, and they damn sure don't control nothing, but they goofy ass think they can put on a suit and fucking tie, and all of a sudden they sitting up here talking down to black women. Oh, you some high value men, what you gonna do to get with us? Not a goddamn thing. You niggas is fucking cornballs. Bunch of goofy motherfuckers. You have no power over nothing. At any given time, somebody can strip you of your fucking resources, you dumb motherfuckers. At any given time, somebody can marginalize your black ass. But you Negroes are running around here thinking y'all high value. I mean, I've never seen a group of people so stupid in all my goddamn life. And this shit is embarrassing at this point in time that you have a group of men, no matter how many fucking examples play out in front of their fucking face, they can't see it for what it is. Let me tell you niggas something right now. Let me tell y'all something. I stated years ago then I am not a pro-black, nor will I ever be. And I stand behind that. I know the lane and the lot that I occupy. But if anybody would have asked, are you pro anything? What I would tell you is I am pro-black empowerment. I am 100% pro-black empowerment. Real tangibles. When I say black empowerment, I'm talking about to the point where you're not governed by somebody else's society. You govern and control your own fucking society. Nobody can come into your society and tell you how to run shit anymore. Get the hell out of here. You don't get no fucking say-so. Why? This is our shit. So when you understand my mind frame and understand that that's what I ultimately want, and that's why I would back Ice Cube, I would defend him any day over these other washed up Negroes who will sell out an entire group of people so they can have some goodies and gifts for themselves. I mean, listen, then you understand where I'm coming from when I'm sitting here going in on a clown like Kevin Samuels, classifying himself as a high value. None of you niggas is high value. None of you. Until you have the ability to stop white society from marginalizing you anytime they feel fit, you're not of high value. Ask Nick Cannon. The minute he said something about the Jewish community, they spanked his ass. That's exactly what happened. They put him out there on display. Get out there and start touting our culture and our religion and how great it is. And that's what he did. He went on fucking Twitter cheerleading like a little bitch. That's some hoe ass shit. That's what a pimp does to a fucking prostitute. This is the relationship you Negroes have, and I guarantee you Nick Cannon is one of the Negroes. I'm a high value man, okay, but you can be pimped out at any given time. You can be put out on a fucking strip to go make money at any given time because you such high value. No, high value is when you have full control over your shit and you can say whatever the fuck you want and say, yeah, I said that shit. The fuck you gonna do about it? That's what I thought, not a goddamn thing. You want to know who can classify themselves as a high value man regardless of what you think of his position? Kim Jong-un, the dictator of North Korea. He can classify himself as a high value man because what was it? The United States tried to get him to stop doing his nuclear program. He's still doing it. Guess what? Don't launch any more nuke. Don't do any more tests. Fuck that. I'm gonna do a test, and what the fuck you gonna do about it? I'm gonna launch a nuke and do a detonation just because I can. The fuck you gonna do about it? And we seen what the response was. Not a goddamn thing. So before you goofy ass niggas run around sitting here talking about being of high value because your silly ass can put on a goddamn suit and tie and then make a whole bunch of unrealistic goofy ass demand. You gotta be 5'4" and 119 pounds with a waist of this size and a cup size. And then shut the fuck up. You niggas sound fucking silly. Your focus is on everything else rather than black empowerment. And y'all sit here and y'all wonder why any other group of men can come ahead and usurp your stupid ass. And let me tell you a problem that I got with this Obsidian also. And I've mentioned this a while ago, a couple of years ago. And I mentioned at one point in time I was actually subscribed to him. I never had any dialogue with him, but I was subscribed to him and he had a level of respect from me. The reason being for that, because back in 2017, we know a list of these black women went ahead on a flagging spree trying to flag down every black man's channel. They mainly targeted Obsidian. Was it Sophia A. Nelson was talking about, you keep talking about me, you're going to have the men in black showing up to your house, the FBI, the CIA, all of these other people are going to show up and they're going to come deal with you. You're going to get some paper served. This is what she was saying. Despite the fact that this is an attorney, she's using big lawyer language, talking in big terms, the man still continue. I'm going to keep making content. Okay, you flag down one of my channels, I make 2 more in return. You flag down 2, I produce 6. So on that end, he had a level of my respect. But then I remember hearing him say something in 2017 after Trump got elected. And this is how indicative to how a lot of you black men think. Y'all are cheerleaders. He mentioned how black men were winning. We were winning because Trump was getting ready to check black women, strip them of their benefits and whatever privileges they thought they had in society. We're winning! So you're cheering that the white man can take your woman in broad daylight, in public, in front of your face, take her behind the woodshed with him, take her pants down and discipline her in front of your black ass. Something that you have never been able to do for quite some time, Negro. And instead of you viewing that as problematic, and it's one thing if you don't have the power to stop that shit or to check it at that point in time. Okay, you were given a disenfranchised situation. This is what you got to work with. Fuck it. It's going to take some time before we can get this together. No, You would figure the Negro would sit down and say, let me try to figure this out and see how this never would happen again. But what the Negro does is the Negro sits there and he cheerleads. That's what that was. When Obsidian said that, he was cheerleading Donald Trump, literally taking black women in broad daylight, in public, in front of the faces of black men, behind the woodshed, taking their pants down and disciplining them. I'm going to do something that you niggas have failed to do, that you can't do. By the way, it's my policies that ensure that you niggas can't do it, but we're going to leave it to the side. And to have black men sitting back, co-signing, and cheerleading that stupid shit only furthermore highlights my point that black men lack the understanding of optics, or how, number one, how bad that makes us look. Furthermore, it lets me know that you have no analytical skills. And then we wonder why we can see images or novels written talking about I kneel to him because I choose to. And this is a black woman talking about why she decides to put a dog collar chain around her fucking neck and put on a negligee and get on her knees on all fours in front of a white man that's standing up in front of her holding that dog collar chain. What does that symbolize to you, Negro? What does that say? What does that say? So when you Negroes are under the impression, oh man, he checking him, he doing something he supposed to do a long time ago. I'm tired of these black women and what they do. Okay, I will agree. Their attitude is fucked up. I will agree. Many of them work to your own detriment. I will agree. But the one thing I'm not going to co-sign is somebody else stepping in and checking a black woman in front of my face who's non-black. Fuck that shit. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to go get out there and come cape for you and save you. No, depending on who you are, hey, it is what it is. But I'm not going to co-sign that shit. Just like with the Veganator, when his ass got into that shit with Crystal and Carson. You ain't hear me co-sign that motherfucker. Because at the end of the goddamn day, I know what time it is. I have analytical skills. I understand optics. I understand that that is not a good look. And what was the position that Crystal and Carson tried to play off of once that happened? She attempted to nail black men who were backing this guy. In certain cases, who she was saying was donated to this guy. I don't know how true that was or not. And whether it was true or not, just the fact that how the overwhelming support that he received from black men is what would now legitimize that position that she made. Once again, many of you black men do not have proper analytical skills. You lack the understanding of optics, and this is why you don't see nothing wrong with saying, well, we're winning because Trump is checking black women. Negro, that is your job, not his. It is your job to get your community in order, not the white man's, not somebody else, not a president, not nobody else. That is your job. That is your job. So when you hear Negroes sitting around talking like this, you know good and damn well you are dealing with a group of failed ass Negroes. These are Negroes I want nothing to do with. Nothing. When you were listening to Negroes that say we ain't got to build nothing for black society, these are Negroes you should want nothing to do with. Leave them the fuck alone, because these would be the same washed up niggas running around talking about, you need to respect your elders. I'm trying to talk to you, son. Nigga, if you don't get your old ass the fuck away from me talking that son shit, you might be on the receiving end of a size 13 boot up your ass. So you better get the hell on out of here with that bullshit, man. But this is what we're dealing with. And just back to that point that I made about Obsidian, him co-signing Trump and cheerleading him on for checking black women. You see, when you sit up and you do that, even if she don't like if she's being raped, she's being abused, she's being beaten up, she's being disciplined right in front of your face, what's going to end up happening is Stockholm Syndrome. So now when there's a choice to be made, okay, black woman, you got a chance to go ahead and deal with this black man over here, or get on your knees and service this white man. Guess what? At the end of the goddamn day, if she has a choice to be made of whose dick she's putting in her mouth, it ain't going to be yours. She gonna choose that same man that will put his foot up her ass at will before she would choose to deal with your black ass. See, this is the danger that you Negroes set when y'all sit up here and y'all use these talk about, we ain't do nothing, we ain't step up. This is why you Negroes are so easily disenfranchised. And like I said, if you Negroes had good analytical skills, you would have seen this a long time ago. You would know this. You would know how easy it is, no matter how much resources you can acquire, how easily it could be stripped away from you. You would know this. And once you understand this, you realize, okay, acquiring the resources is not the only thing. There has to be more acquired. Okay? The Black Wall Street would have stood had these Negroes had the means to protect the Black Wall Street. I'm going to tell you black men something. What's going to bring peace and tranquility into your life is when you have the means to keep bullshit at bay. And how do you do that? Is by your means to fend off bullshit, to fight it off. A lot of you Negroes got things fucked up. You think you're going to just go to a voting booth and vote for some presidential candidate, and that somehow is going to solve your problems. It has never worked for you. You've been doing this shit for years. It has never worked for you. As a matter of fact, when you look at black Republicans and black Democrats, they are two sides of the same fucking coin. Because y'all typically don't go in there talking about a black agenda. Y'all run around talking about everyone else's agenda and how you got to do for their community except yours. This is what it is. You Negroes, I don't know what else I can say to you at this point in time, but many of you, you lack the understanding of optics. You lack the understanding of how the world works. You have no analytical skills. This is why y'all can get online and say some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen you niggas say in my entire fucking life. And I know good and damn well what has to be done to solve this problem. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But my message is for the younger group of black men. Now, for those black women who actually, or the younger group who actually are following my message, then that goes for you too. But what I'm going to tell y'all this much right now. When it comes down to who you follow, if you are dealing with a Negro who doesn't have a strategy or a winning strategy, that is not somebody that you follow. If you are dealing with somebody who has a failed track record time and time again, like these fake ass civil rights leaders, these weak ass black pastors who don't lead to a favorable outcome, then that is somebody that you simply do not follow. It's just that simple. It should not take you 1,000,001 times to keep hitting the same wall and expecting a different result while receiving the same failed result. That's the definition of insanity. When you come across these Negroes that tell you, well, why should we have to do anything for the younger group? Those are Negroes you need to keep as far away from you as possible. I want nothing to do with a black man who thinks like that. Get the fuck away from me. And just as another example before I close out this video, because the reason why I'm saying this, I meant to make this example and I got sidetracked, and so I'm glad I didn't close the video out yet. The reason why I say I can understand why black women would rather deal with the Pookies and Ray Rays before they deal with a lot of you educated lames is this right here. The Pookies and Ray Rays, and let's just take the drug dealers and the gangbangers for a second. Typically, what they offer for other black men who think like that and want to get involved with that lifestyle, we offer you some kind of protection. We got your back. You got a community here. You got a family. Now, we can critique this any way we want to. I'm not knocking somebody's critique of that lifestyle, nor am I condoning the lifestyle. Let me shut this engine back off. But what I'm saying is, in these groups, there's typically some kind of benefit of protection. That if you get involved with us, you got the group. The whole group is going to be down for you. No other gang is going to run up in here and fuck with you, because we going to have your back. If you in trouble, you throw out them signs and we all going to be swarming the block like nothing. That's how that works. They know they got some form of protection, which is what a group of men, a species of men is supposed to do. You link up with other like-minded men and you establish some type of protection that keeps you safe. That is the only thing that I'm honing in on when it comes down to the Pookies and Ray Rays. Now, versus you educated lames. Far too many. Time and time again, you Negroes will find yourself in a sea of white people being the only Negro there and don't see that as a goddamn problem. As a matter of fact, if another black person tries to get in there with you, you feel threatened. You want to be the token Negro. So you don't care to establish anything with other like-minded black men. What I'm telling you, educated lames, and what makes you lame is not your education. Once again, I've stated this months ago in a video. What makes you lame is not you being socially awkward to a degree might not necessarily classify you as a fucking lame. What makes you lame is you feel no obligation to build your predecessor, to get other like-minded educated lames. Let's establish a foundation for people who think like us. Because behind you doing that, what you would at least do, you now give younger black men growing up a choice. You can either go down the gangbanger lifestyle, or you can join us, and this is what we have over here to protect you. That's how you're supposed to function, Negro. But for whatever reason, the Negro does not function like this. The Negro wants to be isolated on an island by himself. Ask how that worked out for Bill Cosby. Ask how that worked out for Michael Jackson. a host of Negro. I mean, come on, I can name the list day in and day. Ask how that's working out for Robert F. Smith. Because once again, you Negroes don't feel no obligation to doing nothing for one another. And this is what makes the educated lame a fucking lame. He doesn't care to build with other educated black men and say, okay, this is our foundation. This is exclusively for us. We're not letting other groups of people in here. This is for us. Y'all got y'all shit over there. This is our shit over here. This is how we're going to maintain not only power, but behind having power, we maintain respect. Meaning, we can't be so easily picked off now. Why? Because we got power. And not only that, we got the means to protect what's ours. So if you join us over here on the educated layman, I don't want to use that term for this class. If black men actually thought like this, you're not a lame. You're educated. You're an educated brother or an educated black male society. Educated lanes are those who do not care to establish nothing else for other like-minded black people. But they want to condemn black men, condemn black male behavior, which is only a slight against your black ass. Because people ain't going to view you as a separate category when they come looking for your ass. That's just not going to happen. Suited and booted means absolutely nothing. Back in the 1960s, when they were fighting for civil rights, them Negroes are suited and booted getting attacked by fucking German shepherds and sprayed with high-pressure water hoses. Suited and booted Negroes. He weren't Pookies and Ray Rays. So what does that tell you? But see, since a lot of you black men fail to be able to think and understand what you're dealing with, you don't see these things as a goddamn problem. You have no problem, once again, being the only black man in a sea of white people. And you're comfortable with that. Just like the Negro who got killed in Greece back in 2017. You look at his Facebook page, the only Negro in a sea of white people, and could not see what was so problematic behind that. Because a lot of you Negroes are under the impression that you're going to find salvation and refuge within other groups of people. And time again, it is proven that is not going to work out to your advantage. It comes with an expiration date. It's up to you on whether you choose to acknowledge this or not. But like I said, I'm going to be producing the Power series. And this is going to be the first installment into my Power series. And this is all I'm going to be talking about. Because like I told you before, I know now what I stand pro on. It's not pro-blackness. It's pro-black empowerment. And with that being said, that's all I got to say in this video. And I'll catch you on the flip side.